In study after study, money is often cited as one of the top conflict points in a marriage. Finances can be an emotional topic for couples, especially when money is tight. So it pays to get in the habit of discussing it on a regular basis, even if you keep separate finances. At stcumoney.org, find 6 tips for making the conversation easier.
Welcome to Let's Talk Spokane, where host Ryan McNeese seeks out and discusses the latest on a variety of hot local topics. Now, here's your host, Ryan McNeese.
Welcome to Let's Talk Spokane. I'm Ryan McNeese, and in the studio today we have Karrie O'Neill, musician.
Yes.
Thank you, Karrie.
Hello.
And Karrie, you were here with us, it's probably about a month back or so. And I think what we're going to talk about today really is a combination of some real positive things you have going on and also some things that were some challenges since we last spoke. Mm-hmm. When you were in the studio last, you had your second album coming out.
Yes.
And the promotion for that at the Bing Crosby Theater, and you were going out on tour within 4 days from that.
Right.
Sounds like the Bing promotion went great. You had a lot of other colleagues, musicians that played well. However, then you found out that the tour didn't exist.
Yes.
And I was excited to have you back in the studio because I think our listeners would find it interesting that this happens in many industries, but I think maybe even a bit of a cliche in the entertainment world that what was thought to be the case actually wasn't. Tell us a little bit about what happened to you.
Yeah, and that's what's interesting because you really, locally, I'm playing music. You hear of people that come in and out, and obviously we've had some great people that have left Spokane and have played music and have been very successful. And from where I came from, if you remember correctly, last time, this was something that I was doing on the side.
Right, this wasn't your career.
This wasn't really my career. Obviously, when you're an artist, you always have that in the back of your mind. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. If I would have done this at this time, would I have been singing out here? Would I have not been in Spokane? All those things kind of play a factor in life in general and thought processes. And so when this came about, really honestly, it was me just wanting to make another CD for people who followed my music because people kept asking. And so one thing led to another, and the individual, because I'm not one to really throw people under the bus, and we all have our struggles in life, and I truly believe that everything happens for a reason. You come in and out of each other's lives. You give what you need to people. You take, those are kind of interesting words to use in the same sentence, but nonetheless,
no, I know what you're saying.
We all give what we need to give. Sometimes things are handed to you in a way you scratch your head and go, well, I wasn't really expecting that, and I think this is this case.
Right.
And so when I approached this individual about doing the CD, it was really from a standpoint of that, getting a CD done. And then conversations started taking place where I know these people. I've been on tour, and I went on tour with these guys back in the 80s, the Violent Femmes. I mean, I went to here and did this.
Big names.
Yeah, there were some very big names and very big, sentences that were being used. And you don't really think, I'm one of these people that, you're in the business, you're doing this, you have this, and so it's really easy for me to believe what you're saying.
Right.
And there was some kind of talk around just in the music world about this, situation, and it was, okay, sounds good. So then one thing led to another, and conversations were taking place, CDs were purchased, T-shirts were purchased, monies were given, so there was really no reason for me not to believe.
Right. There's no real glowing red flags that say something's not right here.
Yeah. From a business standpoint, I do know in the industry there are people who have been scammed before with management groups where they say, oh, yeah, if you give us this money up front, we'll do this. I mean, that's kind of a,
right, and you do that 40 times over, the production never happens.
Right, and you just don't do that. It's kind of opposite.
Right.
This individual is very wanting to help, and I want to, this music is great, I want to help you, and it's great, sounds good. Well,
and I think, as you said, the original purpose was with this individuals' help was just to get their album produced.
Right.
Not even necessarily a tour to begin with.
Right. No, that wasn't even.
Right.
No, I mean, I know people. Some in Spokane, touring is a rough road sometimes too. There's bands that do it all the time on their own. That just kind of call places and get it done, and it's you're living out of a bus or you're living out of hotels. I mean, it's not really sometimes as glamorous as it sounds.
Looks glamorous, but not in reality.
You have to love what you're doing, and so it did sound like it was going to be a very easy, simple thing.
Right.
It's like, we're going to get a bus, and we have the bus, and going to get a band and do all this. This is great because all these people and all these things are going to happen. So there was really no reason for me not to believe these things were going to happen. The details of how all of this was going to be going down too were phenomenal. Like there was a couple times where I questioned things and would say, well, I'm trying to think of for instance, it would be probably specific dates.
But something just didn't seem quite right.
Yeah, and you would question it, and the answers would come through, and you'd kind of tilt your head and go, okay, yeah, I guess I can see that. I can see that. And then you just go about daily.
Plausible, but questionable.
Yeah, exactly. And you go about your daily business, and that's that. And so then basically I found out as the time got closer to the CD release at the Bing, I really started putting the pieces of the puzzle together. Some things were being said. I started going, okay, I'm going to be making phone calls.
Things just weren't adding up at that point.
I started making phone calls. I started talking to people. I started finding out that the stories that were being told just plain were not true. There was no tour. If you remember correctly, our meeting before, I had said that there was a gentleman by the name of True from Jacksonville, Florida, with Transmission Media. Found out that that's not true. He manages Tasha, that sang on Passing Time, but was approached by this individual and said, well, I can't really, book, tour. Me being a little naive to the music business because I was off doing other things the last, 25 years.
Working, raising a family.
Well, I just really didn't know much about the music business. After contacting this True and actually talking to him, he's like, this stuff happens all the time. This doesn't surprise me.
Right.
Was his statement. And then he said, B, and he was not the only person to tell me, you don't throw a tour together it just doesn't
It's a bigger
happen.
production than that.
Yeah, the kind of tour that you were talking about and a bus and these bigger places that you were being told, that's something that 6 months in advance, 3 months in advance. And so for me, I was like, oh, well, I kind of wondered, trying to figure out my schedule as the time got closer and closer. No, we're leaving 4 days out. No, it's fine. Don't worry about it. We've got the places. There's 2 in LA.
We got this taken care of.
I was told that the artist doesn't worry about it. There's 1,000 things.
Which sounds better. Because then you, as the artist, can focus on the music. You're thinking, okay, that works for me.
Good. There's 1,000 things that don't happen when the 2 things that do happen. That's what I was told. Like all these things that you're finding out, well, yeah, that's normal in the business. There's these things that don't happen. And then the 2 things that you see do happen, that's all those things that didn't happen. That's what creates this over here to happen. And
So once you found out that the Bing event went off wonderfully, people are excited about the second album. You're excited about the artistic credibility of the album.
Yes.
Once you actually found out the tour wasn't going to happen, what do you go through emotionally at that point?
Can I say that on there?
yeah, exactly. I mean, because you gear up emotionally for this.
Yeah, no, I was floored.
Yeah.
I was floored. I mean, I literally, when I started hearing these things, I went to a place where I didn't make it about myself. I was actually more, whoa, there's so many people that are affected by this.
Well, I think you'd mentioned to me earlier that folks had changed Thanksgiving schedules, family events, where they're going to be within the United States at a given time. So a lot of scheduling issues.
Exactly, yeah. Because originally I was told that there were other musicians being brought in from other places that were going to meet us. Because you can hire studio-type musicians or musicians that will listen to your CD and you go on the road and they know it and you kind of do a rehearsal and that's that. I mean, I have heard of that. But then that's kind of when I started seeing things where like, wait a minute, these are musicians in Spokane. I know a lot of musicians in Spokane. I could have asked a lot of people. And yeah, our keyboardist was saying, I need to do this. And when are we leaving? And I started going, wait a minute. During rehearsals, that's kind of when it hit me.
Right.
And I think deep down, I probably knew a little bit before that, but was probably in denial. This is not happening. No, this can't happen.
Well, again, I mean, in your defense, you're focusing on what your job is,
right,
which is the art.
Right. Yeah, this very much, very poised in how things were explained, so I didn't really worry about it,
Right.
So I literally just kind of thought, well, okay, I guess now this is what I'm doing because I quit my job and I did not book music.
I've dedicated to this.
I did not book music, and I was giving vocal lessons. I stopped doing everything because I thought I was going to be on the road, and I was told numbers like you're going to make it this amount per show. Your bandmates are going to make this amount. Da, 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 da. I mean, it was like detailed information given, written down on a piece of paper.
Planning the budget, planning your time in Spokane, like you said, not doing voice lessons, not booking
everything
gigs
I did
here
in Spokane that was, financially, kept me in a situation. Done. So I think I did sit there at one point. And
had to pause.
What now? What do I do now? I mean, this is where am I going to go with this now?
Well, and I remember getting correspondence from you because we were so excited for you and what you were doing at kicking off the Bing within days of our last show. And I felt for you because I got that email. I thought, and I felt a lot of emotional.
Yeah, and I felt terrible because I did interviews like in magazines and the paper and with you, and I felt there are so many people that were affected by this. Yeah. Not just me.
Which is the point of wanting to have you back on the show is really the power of your story that probably as the individual in Florida indicated, this does happen in business, whether it be the entertainment field or otherwise.
Right.
What do you feel like you've learned from this experience? Because I think what we really do want to focus on is the silver lining.
Exactly.
What has this done for you, and where do you go from here?
The one gift that I was given is that I really did want to be playing music. That was something I was considering going, do I want to do this full time?
Right.
How can I make this work full time?
Do I really want to commit to this?
Yeah, from a business standpoint, how can I make this keeping it really dry, profitable, and for me to be able to do this for a living, and get rid of this and get rid of this. And it has basically put me in that position right now where I had it in the back of my mind for a while, and all of a sudden it's like, well, you've been thinking about it, here you go.
Right. So it forced you to make that decision.
It really did.
To really jump off and stop being on the fence.
It really did.
Let's take a short little break and come back with Karrie O'Neill here in the studio and talk more about the silver lining of learning from some business challenges.
There you go.
Thank you, Karrie.
In touch, online all the time. SpokaneTalksOnline.com.
The stories and photos on the pages of Nostalgia Magazine show glimpses of life in the inland Northwest from years gone by. From home life, school days, and the workplace, you can relive a style of life that we all loved and cherished. Call today to subscribe, 443-3678. Or visit us online at nostalgiamagazine.net. Nostalgia Magazine. Ageless stories, ageless photos.
I would like to tell you about our new sponsor, Stay Fierce Senior Fitness. Stay Fierce offers conditioning programs and personal training designed specifically for seniors. Owner and certified personal trainer Tim Brummett is himself 64 years old and has lost over 150 pounds in the last 3 years, so he knows how to work with seniors to get in shape. All workouts are in a private facility, not a big, busy gym. Just Tim and his clients. Visit StayFierceFitness.net to learn more. That's StayFierceFitness.net. Of course you can do it. Stay fierce.
Last year alone, Avista customers saved over 53 million kilowatt hours of energy. How? By caulking their windows, programming their thermostats, replacing their incandescent light bulbs with LEDs. Simple things, really. But the energy they saved was enough to power more than 4,000 homes for an entire year. Way to save, everyone. Way to save. Find your way to save at avistautilities.com.
Welcome back. This is Let's Talk Spokane. I'm Ryan McNeese, and in the studio is Karrie O'Neill, and we're chatting about the silver lining of some of the business challenges you've had recently, where you were obviously excited to embark on a new national tour and a second album. And the silver lining I think we're chatting about is, no, the tour is not going to happen, but the second album came out, the quality of the album is great, and you're excited about the choices this has kind of forced you to make. So let's talk a little bit more about, where do you see yourself going from here?
Yeah. I think I'm going to continue, I am going to continue to do music. I will say that the support that I've received from Spokane is tremendous. I've called establishments that I've played before, and they're like, well, of course we'll have you back. Getting it on the books, so to speak, where I'm playing, music consistently. Right. Yeah. And this is a tough time of year just in general with music, as people, holidays and people are slowing down and whatnot. But I'm going to definitely do that. I'm giving lessons again. I've got 4 girls that I'm working with right now, and it's so much fun. I've worked with kids for so long. I love working with kids.
Is that primarily guitar lessons, voice,
It's
both?
vocal. I mean, I'm limited on the guitar, so I'm one of these people that I can teach you to a point, but then I'm going to have to give you to somebody who can push you from there. I'm very rhythm, and I mean, I know some things, but not enough to take somebody a year down the road.
Well, it sounds good to me.
Yeah.
I mean, you sound like you're playing it great. So.
Well, and it's just, I'm honest that way, where vocally, yes, I've had some fun with these girls, and one of my gals actually ended up we recorded 4 songs for her, and I have a guy that can come to the house and record, and she has a little CD that she can give her friends and family. And so my goal with youth in music and singing is to inspire them. I just don't think that we have enough of the music. These kids really need to be exposed to it. If I can inspire, youth to want to sing and make them want to do something, that would be great. So that's the vocal lessons. You can say, oh, vocal lessons.
Sure.
But to me, it means so much more.
Right.
It really, really does. So doing that. And then I've had some friends who have had me come to their house, and I play a private show for them, and they have friends that come over, and that's kind of taken off, and so I'm doing things like that.
I think that's a great spin on, I think, what folks would traditionally think, where you're going to a particular venue, which I like doing that as well. Right. But I think the idea that you're mentioning, that you're going into their house and a private party, clearly the ability to engage in such a close environment with your music, especially the acoustic aspect of it.
Right, and that kind of gave me the idea. Last year I had a show when all the power went out. I was supposed to,
okay.
And nobody had any power. I actually...
That would definitely be acoustic.
Yeah, well, and I actually had... I was supposed to have a show, and they didn't, it couldn't happen because there was no power.
Sure.
So the people that were going I invited them to my house. So I ended up having... I think it was 25 people there, and we lit some candles, and I just had this acoustic where I just played acoustically. It was one of the neatest things, and that's kind of how that started rolling.
Yeah,
where
so
people were like, hey, can you come to my house and do this at my house?
I could actually see that really becoming a really quite an endeavor, because I think like anything folks end up doing, those 25 individuals that saw that show that you're talking about, they probably told 10 people each, and then those folks say, hey, at Christmas, we need to have Karrie O'Neill do this, or at this event.
Right.
Even from a corporate standpoint, corporate parties.
Right. Yeah. I mean, just doing that, because I can have myself, or I can have myself and a drummer. And when you talk about more corporate kinds of things, I can have a whole band if that's what people wanted. The intimacy I like of going to somebody's home and sharing music with people while they're, just hanging out, doing their thing.
I think a real critical point, though, you've mentioned throughout our discussions is you've really lived almost 2 lives. You had a life that had a music part of it, but as you transitioned into the first album, the second album, and then going on tour and the challenges that came with that, I think you've really communicated clearly that this forced you to decide, do I really like this? And I think a lot of people struggle with the concept of, I like something as a hobby, but is this my day job, so to speak? And would you say this has really forced you to decide, how much do I really like this?
Well, I think it was decided for me.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, I mean, I truly,
that happens, right?
Music has been a part of my life since I was a child. Literally, it is a part of me, and it is what I should be doing, without a doubt. I don't, when I perform live, I mean, I literally get into it. I mean, it's part of who I am.
Yeah.
And so, you hear these sayings, when the universe conspires to have something happen, it's
right.
Regardless, it's going to happen. And I really, truly believe this is kind of one of those situations.
But I actually love hearing you say that, because I think that's the whole point of both Business Talks and Let's Talk Spokane, and my interest in doing these shows is just what you said, which is the sincerity of what you're doing.
Right.
So whether it's an artistic endeavor, business endeavor, and a lot of times, like we're talking about today, business and artistic are combined.
Right.
I think you're communicating that you know it when you're doing something that you should be doing.
Oh, absolutely.
The sincerity of what you're doing.
Absolutely. And I think you said it too. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be music or art, or I mean, it could be business. It could be anything, working with kids. I mean, whatever it is you feel really deep down in your heart, this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
I think you equally know when it's not for you.
Oh, yeah.
That, there's many endeavors we all either have or can do that you realize, I just do not have a sincere interest in whatever this endeavor is.
Well, I think there's a lot of people out there that are living that life.
Yep.
And I feel really fortunate, although the circumstances are a little bizarre and interesting. I feel very fortunate that I have been put in a place now where, this is what you wanted to do. This is what you're doing. How are you going to do it?
Well,
how are you going to make this work?
I think you're an inspiring example of that for all of our listeners, and I hope many people start really taking notice and following what you're doing, because I think you're doing it for the right reasons. And you indicated earlier, Spokane and the Spokane art scene, music scene has been very loyal to date, and I think will continue to be.
Yeah.
Tell us some more of opportunities you see out there that you're going to try to commit yourself to in terms of exposure and or events.
I mean, anything that comes across my way, I'm pretty open-minded. I've had a lot of people message me. I obviously have the website, KarrieO'NeillMusic.com.
Actually, let's take time to spell that out.
It's, KarrieO'Neill music.com.
And music is it spelled?
It's kind of confusing, and people are always like, why did you do that? So the website is music spelled correctly.
Yes.
MUSIC. On Facebook, I had to put a Z in there because I was Facebook, when I put in Karrie O'Neill Music with an S, said, no, you're trying to do a business.
Oh,
you need to make a like page.
Oh,
and I have this thing where the whole like thing bothers me.
Pet peeve.
It is. Like, why do we have? I mean, it's like, okay, I don't. If you like me, great. If you don't, that's okay too.
Yeah, here I am. Here's where you can find me.
Yeah, so I changed the S to a Z, and then they didn't recognize it. So then I was able to do what I did.
Well, we learn something new every day. I didn't know that either. Okay.
Well, I didn't either. It worked. I was like, oh, good, it worked. But nonetheless, I mean, it's still, as far as promotions and business-wise on Facebook, they're really interesting that way, because obviously they're charging you for these pages, and in order to get to access to many, many people, you have to pay a certain amount, and only certain people see whatever. But so the web page is the correct spelling.
Okay. So you have the Facebook page. You obviously have KarrieO'NeillMusic.com.
Right. Yeah, and you can get CDs on there. We have T-shirts that are on there that are people really like. They're very nice T-shirts. They're very soft.
I've seen them online too.
They're very soft, and they're very comfortable. People have told me, like, these are the nicest T-shirts, and I'm like, good.
It makes a difference, though.
It really does.
It really does.
I mean,
any
we've
of
all
us
been there. To those concert T-shirts. We're like, what is this?
It's cardboard, but you paid $50 for it. Yeah, we've all been there.
I'm like, is this sandpaper? I'm not sure.
But I'll wear it anyway.
But they're really nice T-shirts.
You got Facebook, the website, any other social media outlets?
Twitter, Instagram. I mean, it's all out there. I mean, I am talking a little bit next week to somebody about another idea that I have that people are saying, wow, what a great idea. I'm not going to say right now.
Yeah, let's hold off. That'll be for a next conversation.
Yeah, and so I'm actually talking to somebody next week about that, so we'll see what happens with that.
So if people are, when people are looking to find you and thinking, hey, is Karrie going to be playing at this particular...
Yes. That webpage is honestly... the best place. I mean,
Okay.
because I put all the dates on there. Everything's on there. I mean, Facebook, I'm always posting. I'll post
Okay.
a week before. I'll post the day of. This for New Year's Eve, I'm going to be at Left Bank Wine Bar.
That's a great place.
It's an incredible. It's one of my loves. I love playing there, and it's always been it's always a great time.
And you're saying that's New Year's Eve?
Yeah.
All right.
So
well, then
I'll-
we need lots of people to get out there.
Go out there,
and
get
watch.
New Year's Eve, and hang out with us from 9 to 12. I'm actually playing in a new event that's up north. It's only up north, and it's called Last Night.
Okay.
And so there's
yeah.
there's
I've heard
some.
of it.
It's there.
Last night of the year.
Yeah, and there's different locations for that, and I'm playing in a couple 20-minute spots for that.
Okay.
During the I think it starts at 6. I should know this, but I don't. It starts at 6. I'm playing at 6 and 6:30 and 7 and 7:20 or 6:20 or something like that.
Okay. But folks can check it out
Yeah.
online, and if those times should
Yeah.
change, they can see that accordingly.
Yeah, the biggest thing is to, I really want to get this music out for people. I want people to hear this music. So the more we can get the CD out to people and listen to it, I mean, the better. I mean, I've had great people that have bought it, and I've had messages from people, this is a great CD.
I think it's going to happen. I really do. I think, as you've described, I think the silver lining of the challenges that you've endured through this canceled tour, and the way you've kind of hit it head on to really turn this into a positive. I think not only are you going to see this support here in Spokane, but I think your music career is on its way up.
I think that would be great.
I'm excited for you.
I love what I do. I love singing, and I love touching people when I sing. I mean, it's okay, wait. Who was the birthday party that last night? It was the special.
Gosh, I can't remember.
Anyways, it was he said something. They interviewed him. He turned 90. I can't believe this is terrible. I can't remember his name. It was on last night. It was a great show. I watched it. What the heck?
I can't.
Tony Bennett. Yes.
Tony Bennett. Yes.
I know. I'm getting the what? How can you not remember Tony Bennett? But
now, I hope you're not going to say you're close to 90 or having the second career, because you're nowhere near 90.
When I'm 90, I'll be on my 5th career. What are you talking about?
Okay. But yes, he has had a great.
He said something. It's not about anything. It's not about business. It's not about any of that. It's more or less about how you've impacted people.
Yes.
And your business automatically will happen, and your success in life will automatically happen because you are truly touching people from a genuine place. You're making a difference in people's lives from a genuine place.
Well, Karrie, you're doing that. It's very clear you're doing that, and we're excited to follow each step that you take. And I hope all of our listeners go out, find you online, go see your shows, and then I hope you come back in the studio and keep singing for us.
Oh, I will. And thank you for having me so much. I appreciate you guys supporting me.
Thank you, Karrie.
Yeah.
Let's Talk Spokane is produced in Spokane, Washington by SpokaneTalksOnline.com, which is solely responsible for its content. Ask us a question, recommend a guest, and hear this program again online anytime at SpokaneTalksOnline.com. Thanks for listening. Home. That word means so much more than its 4 letters suggest. R, that letter, stands alone. When you see someone wearing a blue block R, you're talking with a realtor. Your local neighborhood realtor can help you find your first home, your next home, or help you sell the one you have. Next time you think home, think realtor. The brand makes the difference. This message brought to you by the members of the Spokane Association of Realtors.
If you know what amortization, bridge loans, and HELOCs are, well, you're pretty smart. The financial world is brimming with acronyms and other confusing terms, which can make it harder to make decisions about spending, saving, and borrowing money. If you could use an introduction, go to STCU's financial education blog at stcumoney.org. You'll find out whether you've been amortizing all along, and the experts at the credit union will translate some of the other important financial concepts too. Financial concepts too. Financial concepts too. Financial concepts